Hoping for a fresh start, Millie arrives at the Winchester residence in New York to interview for a live-in housemaid position. She is greeted by Nina Winchester, who looks over Millie's resume and remarks that she is overqualified, given her college degree. Millie calmly responds that she enjoys working as a maid for the right families. Then, Nina quickly gets down to business, telling Millie that her duties will include cleaning the house and helping take care of her 7-year-old daughter, Cece. Nina then gives Millie a tour of the house, mentioning that the interior design was done by her husband, Andrew, who works in the tech industry. Nina shows Millie a room with a large television and a shelf stocked with drinks. Nina adds that Andrew loves to spend his time here. She tells Millie that she is welcome to use the room anytime. Next, Nina shows her the second living room, explaining that they barely use it. Millie awkwardly asks whether Nina really needs a nanny since everything looks neat and well-maintained. Nina then admits that she is pregnant and will need all the help she can get. She asks Millie not to tell Andrew, explaining that it is still early and she wants to be sure. Millie nods and congratulates her. Nina shows Millie Cece's bedroom, then she points out a miniature version of the house, saying Andrew made it. After that, she takes Millie to her bedroom, which is secluded from the main part of the house. Nina tells her she can decorate the room with plants or blast music, saying the room is soundproof. At the end of the tour, Nina hands Millie a $20 bill for gas and tells her she will call once she has made her decision. Deep down, Millie knows Nina probably won't call her back once she finishes the background check on her, since everything on her resume is a lie. After freshening up in a public bathroom, Millie returns to her car and sleeps there. The following day, Millie receives a call from Nina telling her that she got the job, and Millie expresses her gratitude. That afternoon, Millie arrives at the house, but no one opens the gate. She asks the man nearby if he knows the access code, and just then, the gate opens. Millie steps inside and finds the house in complete disarray. Nina greets her and tells her she needs to clean up because she has to work on her PTA speech. Nina takes Millie's bags and offers to put them in her room. Millie cleans the house until it is spotless. Shortly afterward, Andrew arrives home with Cece. Nina introduces Millie to them, explaining that she will be living with them. Andrew is hesitant at first, but Nina assures him that Millie will be a great help. Andrew then welcomes her. Millie then goes to her room and notices a small refrigerator stocked with bottled water. She also realizes that the door cannot be locked from the inside, only from the outside. When she tries to open the window, she finds that it doesn't budge. At that moment, Nina enters the room with dinner and explains that the window does not really open, but promises to ask the handyman to fix it. Curious, Millie asks if the handyman is the man working in the yard. Nina shakes her head and explains that Enzo is a groundskeeper. Then, Millie asks Nina for a key to her room. Nina laughs and says she will bring one later, adding that the room used to be Andrew's storage closet for files. Nina then gives Millie a brand new phone. She explains that the household credit card is linked to the phone, so Millie can use it to buy groceries and other necessities for the house. The next morning, Millie wakes up late and rushes downstairs, where she sees Nina angrily throwing items around the living room. Millie asks what is wrong. Nina explains that she left her PTA speech on the counter and now it is missing, and she accuses Millie of throwing it away. Andrew steps in and calms his frantic wife. He tells Nina that he will take Cece to school while she starts rewriting the speech, reminding her that she has until this evening to finish it. Millie begins cleaning up the mess. Andrew, concerned, comments that he does not understand why Nina has been so emotional lately. He offers to help Millie, but she politely tells him that she can handle everything herself. As Millie takes out the trash, she notices Enzo outside. He asks her what she's doing here. Before he can say anything else, he spots Nina, mutters something under his breath and quickly walks away. Later, while cleaning the master bedroom's toilet, Millie discovers a tablet. Moments after, Nina appears behind her and begins talking about how she never quite fits in with the other PTA moms. Then she tells Millie to start preparing dinner. That night, while Nina is at a meeting, Millie prepares dinner. As she serves the meal, she asks Cece if she wants some juice. Cece agrees, but tells Millie to use a different glass, saying this one is dirty. Millie explains it just came out of the dishwasher, but Cece still refuses to drink from it. Andrew asks Millie to stay and join them, but she politely declines. Back in her room, Millie scrolls through Andrew's Instagram profile. Suddenly, there is a knock at the door. Andrew appears, bringing her a cupcake. Just as he leans in to kiss her, Millie wakes up, realizing it was only a dream. As Millie sets the breakfast on the table, Nina hands her the key to her room and asks how things went last night with Andrew and Cece. Millie says it went fine. Nina sighs and admits Andrew isn't the biggest fan of her cooking, but he always eats it without complaint. A few days later, on Saturday, Nina asks Millie to drop Cece off at ballet class. Millie points out that it's her day off, but Nina complains that she missed her hair salon appointment earlier because of Millie throwing away her PTA speech. Millie insists she needs to attend an important meeting. Overhearing their argument, Andrew offers to take Cece to ballet class himself. Millie then meets with her parole officer, who asks about her current living situation and job. Millie explains where she lives and what she does for work. The officer warns her to hold on to this job, reminding her that if she slips up, she could end up back in jail to serve the remaining 5 years. After the meeting, Millie receives a call from Nina, who simply asks her to pick Cece up from ballet class. Millie arrives at the dance studio and runs into one of the PTA moms named Patrice. Millie introduces herself, explaining that she works for Nina Winchester and is here to pick up Cece. However, Patrice tells her that Cece already has a playdate arranged with Emma weeks ago. Millie insists that Nina specifically asked her to pick Cece up. Annoyed, Patrice calls Nina, who denies ever asking Millie to pick Cece up. When Millie returns to the house, Nina immediately scolds her for causing a scene in front of Patrice, claiming that she already told Millie that Cece was having a sleepover. She then introduces Millie to Evelyn, Andrew's mother, pointing out that she brought some lovely china sets with her. At that moment, Andrew arrives home and greets his mother. That night, Millie can't sleep, so she goes downstairs to watch TV. Moments later, Andrew joins her. Millie apologizes and starts to leave, but he asks her to stay. They end up watching Family Feud together. Millie comments that she likes the show. Andrew jokes that he and his family would have crushed the show, calling them absolute vultures. Andrew then asks about Millie's family. She admits that she does not really keep in touch with them. Trying to lighten the mood, Andrew jokes that he, Millie, his parents, and Nina would make a better team. On Family Feud, picking up on who's being left out, Millie asks about Nina's parents. Andrew explains that Nina's parents died when she was young and that the police were never able to determine who was responsible, though rumors claim Nina started the fire herself. At that moment, Nina walks in and finds them together. Andrew quickly says they were just watching a game show before excusing himself and leaving. Then, Nina fires Millie. Millie desperately begs for another chance, and after a moment, Nina agrees, but warns her to stay the hell away from her husband.
Stay the fuck away from my husband.
The next day, Millie prepares food for a PTA gathering. While serving them, she overhears them trash-talking their nannies. Nina then announces that she is looking for a nanny herself. The moms immediately fawn over her and ask how far along she is. Nina corrects them, saying that she and Andrew are trying to conceive and are planning to visit a fertility clinic. She then receives a phone call and excuses herself. Once Nina leaves, the moms begin gossiping about her. Patrice comments on how saintly Andrew must be to put up with Nina's behavior and mentions that Nina had nothing when she married him. They also reveal that Nina once spent 9 months in a psychiatric ward. That night, Millie writes in her journal, expressing how she believes Nina is crazy for lying about being pregnant. Suddenly, Nina bursts into her room and asks her to watch Cece this Saturday, while she and Andrew go to a doctor's appointment in the city. Millie agrees. Saturday arrives, and once Nina and Andrew leave, Millie checks the medicine cabinet and realizes that Nina's medication is for psychosis. Millie later leaves a voicemail for her friend Lexi, asking if she knows of any job openings and admitting that she needs to get out of this house. Cece overhears the conversation and asks if Millie is leaving. Millie reassures her that she is not and begins making her a sandwich. To break the silence, Millie asks if Cece has any crushes at school. The question immediately puts Cece in a bad mood. She then tells Millie that she does not have to be her friend. Millie gently replies that she does, because she likes her. Cece softens and begins playing with her dollhouse.
Do you want juice or water? Juice, please. Don't spill. Juice is a privilege. I won't. Did you go to the salon today? Yes.
Millie notices her troll doll and scolds Cece, telling her not to go into her room again. Suddenly, they hear Nina screaming. Millie later learns that Nina has premature ovarian insufficiency, meaning she cannot have children. Andrew adds that they have been trying for years. He admits that he always wanted children and reveals that Cece is not his biological daughter. That night, Millie hears loud yelling and screaming. She goes to check on them and sees Nina holding a bloodied glass shard. Smiling creepily, Andrew eventually manages to take the shard from her and shuts the door. The next morning, Nina apologizes to Millie for lying about the pregnancy. Millie smiles politely. Attempting to make peace, Nina offers Millie some of her clothes. Millie hesitates, but when Nina insists, she accepts. Then, Nina asks Millie to do her a favor and book 2 Broadway tickets and a hotel this Saturday so she can make it up to Andrew, adding that Cece will stay with a friend and Millie will have the day off.
Sounds great.
Later, Millie goes to pick up Cece from ballet class when one of the moms asks Millie if she is the new maid working for the Winchester family. When Millie confirms it, the woman tells her that Cece has been through a lot, revealing that Nina once tried to drown her and later attempted suicide by overdosing on pills. She adds that Andrew saved them both. Later, Millie confronts Enzo, asking what he knows about the family, but Nina angrily interrupts and demands to know why Millie bought the Broadway tickets. Millie reminds her that she asked her to book them, but Nina accuses her of lying, saying she and Cece are supposed to go to art camp this Saturday. She also points out that the tickets are non-refundable, so the cost will be deducted from Millie's paycheck. Just then, Andrew arrives home, and Nina tells him what Millie did. Andrew reassures Millie, saying she doesn't have to pay. Days later, Nina and Cece leave for art camp. Millie takes a shower, and when she comes out, she runs into Andrew. He apologizes awkwardly and leaves. Later, Andrew tells Millie that he was unable to get the tickets refunded and asks if she would like to go with him to see the show instead. Millie hesitates at first but eventually agrees. She wears one of Nina's dresses. They attend the show and have a good time. At the hotel, Andrew opens up about running a data processing company that his father left him and shares how he always wanted to be a good husband and have children. He asks Millie if she wants kids, and she replies that she does, someday. While Andrew checks in, Millie asks the front desk attendant for a phone charger, which she promptly provides. They then go to their separate hotel rooms. As Millie charges her phone, she notices a flood of angry messages from Nina. She immediately shows them to Andrew. Overwhelmed, Millie begins to cry, and Andrew comforts her. One thing leads to another, and they end up sleeping together. The next morning, Andrew compliments Millie's beauty. An hour later, they return to the house and breathe a sigh of relief when they realize Nina has not arrived home yet. They begin kissing. Sometime later, Nina walks in. She quickly apologizes to Millie for the messages she sent the night before. Curious, Nina asks Millie how she spent her day off. Millie lies and says she went to a bar with her friend Lexi. Nina smiles and compliments Millie's cooking.
I've been meaning to ask you, did you learn how to cook while you were in prison?
Nina then casually mentions to Andrew that Millie spent 10 years in prison, but believes it's good that Millie is trying to start fresh. She gives Millie a grocery list.
Do you use my car for running errands from now on? I'm afraid yours is becoming an unwelcome topic of conversation.
While shopping, Millie runs into one of the PTA moms, who notices her new phone. The woman remarks that most nannies would refuse a phone from their employer since they are often used as tracking devices. Millie suddenly realizes that Nina knows about the affair. Moments later, the police arrive and handcuff her since Nina has reported her car stolen. Andrew eventually arrives and picks Millie up. Then, Millie admits that she went to prison while she was still in high school, but Andrew tells her she does not need to explain her past, assuring her that he knows she is a good person. When Millie and Andrew return home, Nina confronts them after finding the Broadway playbill. She accuses them of having an affair. Both Millie and Andrew deny it, and Andrew tells Nina that she is imagining things again. Nina, however, fires Millie on the spot and also demands money from her, accusing her of stealing her clothes. Millie is stunned. Andrew suddenly snaps and kicks Nina out of the house. Furious, Nina slaps Millie before storming out. After Nina leaves, Millie offers to go as well, explaining that she needs a job and stable housing to comply with her parole conditions. Andrew insists that she stay with him, and Millie agrees. Over the next few weeks, life feels blissful for Millie. One day, Andrew casually tells Millie that his mother loves his smile and that other women do too. One morning, as Millie plates breakfast for Andrew, she is startled to see Enzo watching her from outside. She tells Andrew about it, and he immediately fires Enzo. Millie apologizes to Andrew for accidentally breaking the china plate his mother brought. Andrew tells her not to worry, but asks her to collect the broken pieces so he can have someone glue them back together. That evening, Millie greets Andrew as he carefully examines the broken china. He asks why she didn't clean up the pieces, and Millie explains she was afraid of cutting herself. Andrew simply nods in response. He then leads Millie to her bedroom and offers her champagne. They drink, and soon after they begin making out. Sometime later, Millie wakes up alone. She tries to open the door but realizes it is locked from the outside. Panicked, she yells for Andrew to open it. The story then shifts back to a few weeks earlier, after Nina left the house. Instead of being devastated, Nina feels a sense of relief for finally escaping Andrew's control. It is revealed that Andrew is abusive and had been manipulating and exploiting Nina for years. Nina's trauma began when she was 8 years old. Contrary to what Andrew tells people, she did not start the fire at her house. Nina once dreamed of becoming a lawyer, but her life took a different turn when she fell in love with her professor and became pregnant with Cece, and he rejected them both. She gave up her ambitions and began working as a secretary at a law office. One day, her boss noticed stains on her blouse and told her to clean herself up. That was when Andrew first noticed her. Later, Andrew apologized on behalf of his lawyer and asked Nina out. After only 6 weeks of dating, he proposed, and Nina accepted. She believed she was getting a fairy tale ending, though deep down she sensed something was wrong, especially after learning that Andrew's previous fiancée, Kathy, had cold feet and called off the wedding. One day, Andrew noticed Nina's roots showing and reminded her to get them done. The next day, Andrew noticed that Nina still hadn't done her roots. She told him she forgot while dropping Cece off at her friend's house. Then he sent her to the attic to get his file. Once she was inside, he locked her in and ordered her to pluck 100 hairs from her scalp, roots intact. He told her that hair was a privilege and had to be maintained. Nina cried but obeyed. The next day, Andrew told her to start over, claiming she had missed one hair.
One of the strands didn't have a follicle.
After completing the task again, she rushed downstairs to Cece, only to realize that the water she drank had been drugged. Then, Andrew staged the scene to make it appear as though Nina had tried to drown Cece. The police arrived, and Nina was institutionalized. Nina eventually accepted antidepressants, even though she felt emotionally numb, just so she could be released and return to Cece. However, she soon realized that Andrew had already won Cece's affection, leaving Nina trapped with him. Andrew presented himself to the world as the perfect husband while portraying Nina as unstable. Eventually, Andrew wanted children of his own. But Nina had an IUD inserted and secretly paid the doctor to tell Andrew she was infertile. So Andrew's abuse continued even more. Enzo tried to help Nina and Cece escape by arranging fake passports. But Andrew discovered the plan. Eventually, Nina realized Andrew's greatest weakness, his need to be admired. She began plotting her escape and replacement. Millie fit the profile perfectly. Alone, vulnerable, and in need of saving. Exactly the type Andrew was drawn to. However, when Nina discovered that Millie had gone to prison for murder, her plan changed. Enzo agreed to keep watch over Millie, and Nina prepared to leave for California with Cece. Back in the present, Andrew tells Millie that the china plate she broke is irreplaceable because he grew up eating from it. Millie insists it was an accident, but Andrew coldly explains that family heirlooms are a privilege. He slips one of the pieces under the door and orders her to carve a line into her stomach 21 times, once for each broken piece. He warns her that if she does it incorrectly, she will have to start over. Andrew! As Millie prepares to cut herself, she recalls the man she killed, the reason she went to prison. He had been rich, admired, and seen as a saint by others, much like Andrew. Millie killed him because he was taking advantage of her roommate. Her roommate refused to testify, and even Millie's parents disowned her. She took a plea deal for 15 years and was released on parole after 10. Millie realizes that Nina deliberately chose her as a scapegoat. Millie completes the 21 cuts and passes out. Meanwhile, Nina tells Cece that they are moving to California. Cece suggests they take Millie with them, but Nina tells her that Millie is with Andrew now. The next day, Andrew tells Millie that he is proud of her and promises she can have anything she wants, as long as she learns that actions have consequences. At that moment, Millie stabs him with a knife hidden in the mini fridge, placed there earlier by Nina. Millie locks Andrew inside the room and takes his phone. She discovers that there are hidden cameras in the room. While calmly eating a sandwich, she sees a message from Evelyn pop up on Andrew's phone. This gives Millie an idea. She gathers all the china sets and grabs a pair of pliers. She tells Andrew that he must pull out his front tooth, or she will destroy every piece of china his mother ever gave him.
What the fuck?
Eventually, Andrew pulls his tooth out. Millie leaves him behind, telling him she will be back. That night, Nina returns to the house to save Millie. Millie hears a noise coming from the attic and looks up to see Nina opening the door. Before Millie can warn her, Andrew appears behind Nina and pushes her down. He then chases after Millie. After a brief struggle, Millie manages to break free and hide. Andrew then encounters Nina. He tells her that they can go back to how things were before. At that moment, Millie emerges and pushes Andrew down the staircase. Nina quickly unscrews the light bulb and drops it. She tells Millie she'll explain to the police that Andrew slipped and fell while changing the bulb. Millie argues that the police will not believe that story, but Nina urges her to run anyway. Before leaving, Millie places Andrew's tooth beside his body. Nina later tells the officer a cover story, saying she returned home that evening after dropping her daughter off at art camp and that her maid was on a 1-week break. The officer points out that Andrew's injuries were too severe to have been caused by a simple fall. She then reveals she knew Andrew personally. He once dated her sister, Kathy, who became deeply disturbed after their relationship and never fully recovered. The officer ultimately dismisses the case as a freak accident. Days later, after Andrew's funeral, the PTA moms express their sympathy. Evelyn responds by saying that Andrew had a beautiful smile and mentions that the police found a missing tooth beside him. She adds that if you do not take care of your teeth, you lose the privilege of having them. She then criticizes Nina, questioning whether this is how she allows her daughter to dress for her father's funeral. Later, Nina spots Millie. She thanks her and hands her some money so she can start over. Millie later attends an interview for a housemaid position at a luxurious mansion. The woman interviewing her tells Millie that Nina recommended her, but warns her that her husband is a difficult man to please. Millie smiles calmly and asks, "When can I start?"